Good morning. Welcome to Morning Coffee Beans. Thank you for being here with me again today. Thank you also for your comments, your sharing, and for subscribing to our YouTube video. Today I'm going to talk about sharing your stories with your family. And as you know, I'm a storyteller. I've always been a storyteller, either in my head or writing it on paper. So I hope that you'll enjoy this story and listen for how you can share your stories with your family. The power of sharing our family stories. I had never traveled anywhere alone. Riding a bus from Macon to Atlanta, Georgia with strangers was not a long distance, I know, but it was very frightening and exciting for an 18-year-old girl. My mom died when I was 13, and I lived with my brother and sister-in-law. The trip was a graduation gift to visit my aunts whom I hardly knew. They thought it would be a good idea for me to hear stories of my mom and get to know what she was like when she was a young girl. The bus arrived late that night at a very busy bus station on Peachtree Street, but there was no one there to greet me. My aunt and uncle were not able to drive after dark, so I had to take a taxi to their home to Stone Mountain, near Stone Mountain. The taxi driver was a little frightening. He seemed to have taken the long way around for what was supposed to have been a 15-minute drive, but when I lied and told him that my brother or my uncle was a policeman, he suddenly found the right street and my aunt standing on the front porch waiting for me. I spent the next few days visiting other aunts and uncles, listening to interesting and wonderful stories about my mother. The stories gave me a new picture of the woman that I called Mama. My aunt showed me yellowed photos taken when she was a young red-headed girl. They told me how she liked to sing in the choir, how shy and stubborn she was, and how she and my dad had eloped even before they finished high school. It was a gift that I wished I had received much earlier. I know there are so many ways you can trace your roots, the genealogy, the ancestry.com, and get the facts, but nothing takes the place of the short stories that we share with each other. In that, research shows that sharing family stories can increase well-being, reduce anxiety and depression, reinforce feelings of closeness among family members, and build a resilience for navigating life's normal ups and downs. These story moments can happen anytime families get together. When our children were younger, it was fun for them to hear what their dad was like as a child when we visited my husband's family. Their view of him was very different than ours. We saw him as a husband, a father, a pastor, a man who worked hard for his family. They saw him as a fun, loving boy who has somehow stumbled into becoming a man. Watching my children's faces when they heard stories of their dad touched me very deeply. I see the same look on our grandchildren's faces when their aunt and uncles talk about their moms and dad. One day, our youngest son called our house in total exasperation. His oldest son said he was going to the bathroom while they were in the pizza place, but instead of going to the bathroom, he decided to check out a red button on the emergency exit door. Of course, the alarm went off and our grandson was in trouble. He is so mischievous, Mom. I just don't even know what to do with him. When we related the story to his brother and sister at the next Thanksgiving gathering, it was their turn to remind him of when he decided to satisfy his curiosity by pulling the emergency alarm at the hotel where we were staying. And then, of course, there was that time his curiosity got his knee stuck between the column and the wall of his elementary school. And they went on and on and on. Our grandson listened with great interest. Stories are the secret sauce that binds our families together. I believe that when a child learns that their parents did silly things and made mistakes, they can accept their own mistakes and learn from them. When they hear stories about their grandparents, their aunts, uncles, and cousins, their world becomes bigger and safer in their hearts because they know they're not alone. When I read the Bible, I love that Jesus used parables, a Jewish style of storytelling, to teach people and make a point. Actually, I think that's where I learned the value of using a story to make a point. It's a very powerful tool. As a 10th child of 11 children, I wasn't close to my older brothers and sisters. When I married, I moved away, and for a while we had nothing much in common. But when we came together with our children and grandchildren, it was easy to see how much alike we were and how our childhood had defined the people that we had become. I wish parents understood how much children need to hear the stories their families have to tell, even if they are the same stories over and over again. The stories may be entertaining and sometimes even sad, but they also are an important part of informing. Stories tell us our history, who we are, what sort of people we come from, and why certain events happened the way they did. They remind us of the legacies that we are obliged to live up to, and in some things, they remind us of the things that we need to change. They give us a context for our lives, assuring us that we are part of an ongoing story, an epic that began long ago, before we were born, and will continue long after we are gone. I hope that you listen very carefully how important stories are. If you don't spend time telling stories to your children or sharing your stories with each other, once you're gone, there's no one to share those stories. All of my family is gone now. I have one brother. No more brothers and sisters, mom, dad, aunts, uncles. I don't have any place to get the stories from now. So it's important that we share our stories with each other, with our children, so they can pass those stories down. I hope you enjoyed this story today, and I hope you will share your stories, and I hope you will also share this YouTube video with other people and make comments about the video, and I look forward to seeing you the next time I make a video. Thank you.